Hi everyone, this is Vernon Johannes. I just wanted to let you guys know that I've started a new YouTube channel called First Generation Transform. It's basically a channel dedicated to first generation candidate attorneys who are eager to accelerate their professional development, but who understands that working in a corporate environment comes with its unique set of challenges and frustrations, as if it wasn't difficult enough. So this channel will basically help to expose you to a variety of tools, approaches and understandings that you can use on your journey of professional growth and development so that you can more easily, integrate into the corporate world as a first generation professional. Why am I doing this? Well, because when I made my transition into the corporate world as a candidate attorney, it was really difficult for me. And I wish I had someone as a candidate attorney who could show me and tell me what the phases are that I was going to go through. Not the phases in terms of work processes and who you need to ask for help and all of that. I'm talking about phases you were going to go through, I was going to go through, mentally and emotionally. What it is I needed to focus on, how I needed to shift my attitude, not just shift your attitude, but how to do it, how to develop a better perspective, how not to take things too personally, how to get over those unnecessary fears and doubts, and also how not to be so hard on yourself. Basically, how to build an attitude and an outlook that could better facilitate my integration as a candidate attorney, first generation, into the corporate world. If you're still in law school, this is of relevance to you. If you are a CA, obviously this is for you as well. So my story is this. When I made my transition from law school into the corporate world, it was really difficult for me. It was really, really, really difficult for me. But I can tell you one thing, that in retrospect, when I look back, I know that 95% of my frustration, fear, anger, doubt, humiliation, 95% of that was because of me. Yes, it was because of me. It was because of my thinking, my attitude, my decision-making processes, which, to be honest with you, just didn't serve me at all. And yes, obviously there were times and there were people and there were circumstances wherein I was justified to be able to point a finger and say, this is what you did and it makes me feel this way. So obviously there were times that I was justified to feel those emotions. But that's the thing. Even when those things happened, when people made off-color remarks, or if I got a bad feedback, and when certain things happened, I couldn't deal with it in a way where I could more easily, fluidly, and faster, in a faster way, just jump back and do what I needed to do. You know what I mean? So even in that case, I wasn't able to bounce back as fast as I wanted to. And here's another flip side to the story as well. There were quite a few professionals at the firm that I was working who took me under their wing and who exposed me to their matters, invited me to a lot of their meetings, gave me more files, basically who were there to basically help me. I also had a mentor, obviously, who also kind of showed me the ropes and who to ask and what to do. But even for those people, a lot of the times I could see that they were even throwing their hands up in despair, because when you give someone an opportunity and you think to yourself, like why are you not taking this with both hands? Like, why aren't you making use of this opportunity? You know why? It's because my head wasn't screwed on right. My head wasn't screwed on right. The image of that I had of myself, my self-image, was such that I could not even contain the opportunities that I was getting, the help that I was getting, so that I could more fluently, integrate and just make use of this opportunity, make use of the opportunity that was staring me in the face, clearly. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if some of you can relate to that, especially if you're in practice now. And also, like when I was in law school, it's interesting because I can remember there were times when I thought about being an attorney, like when I graduated and I went out into practice, when I thought about being an attorney while still on law school, I had this image in my mind of attorney who is accomplished and who's, just, rocking the legal world, and someone who's really sharp and on their feet and, and just knows what they're doing. But here's the problem. So when I thought about being an attorney, I judged myself where I judged myself against that image of an attorney who's accomplished, which made it very difficult for me to connect with, because I was in law school. And can you see what I'm saying? I was in law school and I was judging myself, basically needing to fit in and be the same as someone who's accomplished, which is very unfair and which is very unreasonable, because it doesn't work that way. And what I didn't realize, and this is the first tip, what I didn't realize is that attorneys don't just appear. Those good attorneys, those who are on that level, don't just happen. There are phases involved. You know what I mean? There are phases involved, because they too are in law school once, obviously. So, but only afterwards, in retrospect, I realized that that's what was happening, and that was what the case was in terms of my thinking, and it just did not serve me. You see, so even going in, I went in, just basically one down. Do you know what I mean? Now, that's just one simple example of how ridiculously easy it is to create mental knots that does not serve you at all. Knots that basically help you to fight a losing battle. So I know as a CA, I had quite a few of those knots that were tied. So it just didn't serve me. So I had quite a few of those knots, mind viruses basically, that just didn't serve me, where I couldn't make use of the opportunity that was basically given to me in both hands, as I said. So I struggled. I really struggled. And not long after I got admitted, I jumped ship. I jumped ship and I left the profession. So now you might be thinking, now, who am I to be able to give you advice? Obviously, how can I now give you advice if I'm not, in practice? Well, two things. Firstly, in retrospect, I know quite a few of the things that I was going to and quite a few of the knots that I tied for myself. In retrospect, it's kind of much easier for me to see that. And then secondly, also, incidentally, I'm a life coach as well. And I'm also doing my certification in neuroscience and coaching and mentoring with the International Leadership and Management Institute. So it's not just that I know the phases that I went through, but I also know a little bit about what to do about it. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm doing this. So, to be honest with you, I'm really excited about sharing this. I knew for a long time that I was actually going to do this. And I just want to give you a heads up. For some of you who are first generation and who's in practice, your heads are screwed on right. You kind of have it like set down and kind of you're just hitting it out of the ballpark. And I commend you. It's so because it's already difficult. So this might not apply to you. You might think that, what, Vernon, you're like, what the hell? This is basic stuff, bruh. Like everyone can get this. And I know that and I understand that, especially if you're doing well and you kind of, progressing quite well. But I am going to have to ask you in all sincerity that there are those who might not be finding it as easy as you might be finding it. I'm going to ask you to be just a little bit mindful that there might be people who at this very moment, while you're listening to this, who basically wants to jump ship, who's been thinking about jumping ship, who's been thinking that every single day they don't want to go to work. So this is basically meant for them. No, this is basically meant for them. Just giving some tools and tips, and a lot of it's going to be basic, which is fine, because sometimes we need to be reminded about basic things sometimes. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And then also, just something else before I wrap up. Also, just wanted to give you a heads up that, look, I know that there is, within the legal profession, that there is this thing about the transformation of the legal profession and, the thing about briefing patterns and that white colleagues get, more or better work than us colored or black colleagues. I know all those things exist out in practice, and yes, I don't downplay it. But when you send me your questions, your personal questions, with regards to the particular things that you were going through, please, just to give you a heads up, this channel is about transformation, about you taking responsibility of what it is that you can do for your development, instead of us looking at others and the fact that the situation is as it is. I'm going to challenge you that despite everything that's happening, let's take this opportunity to kind of work on ourselves a little bit. Let's take responsibility back for us who kind of need to build that muscle. You know what I mean? So please like this channel. I'll be uploading quite a few topics that's of relevant to you. And as I said, some of it might be basic, but again, for those of you who are doing well, it will be very basic. But for those who are not doing well and who really do need the help, for you it might be a lifesaver. And I know what I'm talking about. I know how damn difficult this could be, And just another thing, if strong language or colorful metaphors offend you, this channel might not be for you. I like to tell it how it is. If words like boobies offend you, then this is not going to be a place for you to hang out, because you're going to get irritated by me or annoyed by me. But I want to tell you that I'm pretty chilled with the way I do things, because I don't want to take life too seriously. Because seriousness, to be honest with you, can give you cancer, metaphorically speaking, and literally. Because life is not just black and white. And I know as attorneys, we are conditioned and taught about right and wrong. But when it comes to emotions, and when it comes to health internally, and when it comes to relationships, and our mentally as well. Life is not just black and white. There are 1,000 shades in between. And your ability to just relax a bit and just be a little bit more open sometimes and be a little bit slower to judge, you will find that being a bit more chilled, being a bit more relaxed sometimes, in some instances, in this instance it might be very relevant, that sometimes being more relaxed will actually help you to gain far better insight into things that might be of importance for you. Even your ability to enjoy, even your ability to enjoy on a deeper level is enhanced. Your aesthetic sense is strengthened by how relaxed you can be. For some of you that might make absolute sense. For others it might be over your head, and that's fine. So I'm looking forward to spending time with you. This is going to be a good ride. I'm looking forward because I know this is a personal journey for me, and it might be a personal journey for you as well. And I just look forward to serving, basically. So hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell as well so that you get notified every time I upload new content. And then also like and share this. Share it. And then also remember, please send me your personal questions, because then I can deal with you one-on-one. I won't say, oh, this is, Mr. Dickinson, Charlie Dickinson who sent it in. Obviously, I won't give your name out, but I will deal with your question, and that in that way we can deal with with a few things on a more personal level. So do that for me. Subscribe, share, like, and yeah, let's do this. It's time for us to start taking responsibility for us. I know a lot of us are, and I know some of us are just afraid sometimes, and life happens so fast, and sometimes we just forget to slow down a bit and just kind of focus a little bit on ourselves, a bit more generously. So thank you, and I look forward to spending time with you. And like, subscribe, and share. Send me those questions. Peace out. Thanks. Bye.